Today, we're going to talk to you about how to build full-featured engineering metrics dashboard for free. So nowadays, tracking your basic engineering metrics doesn't mean that you have to sign up for some expensive SaaS tool or hire some consulting firm, right? In this guide, we'll show you how to build a flexible, powerful, and free metric dashboard using tools like Grafana and BigQuery and GitHub Actions. Right, whether you're monitoring cycle time, time to fix, pull request activity, or other things, we'll show you a setup that will get you some visibility that your engineering team will actually want to look at. So we did present a previous metrics guide showing you how to track metrics in a basic way using GitHub Actions and the Google Sheets API. We also found that the Google Sheets data can be visualized using another Google tool like Looker Studio. However, in this case, we wanted something a bit more powerful with a bit more visualization and debugging skills. We wanted to be able to slice, dice, and drill down into our metrics. And of course, we wanted the tools to be free because we don't want to justify the cost to our management. So let's talk about our stack. So as previously, we're going to be using GitHub Actions to actually schedule a metrics collection and compute the data. For visualization, we decided to use Grafana. It's a leader in visualizing data. It is open source and it can be self-hosted. However, for this demonstration, we decided to use their free cloud tier, which is pretty decent. The main issue, though, is that it only has 14-day retention of data. We actually wanted the engineering metrics to be there for years so we can look at past data. So we decided for actually storing the analytics data to use BigQuery, which is Google Cloud's analytics database. And their free tier is quite good. If you go to their pricing page, you scroll down to free usage tier and you basically say 10 gigs per month, 1 terabyte query data process. I do have to note that in order to use all the features of the API, I did need to add a billing address to this account, but we're still getting it for free, so we're not being charged anything. But just FYI. The free tier does limit some API calls. All right, so what did we do? In Google BigQuery, of course, we had to set up a service account, create a data set. Let's go ahead and jump into there, how it looks. Yeah, there we go. Let's jump into here, how the project looks. We have a project here, and then we have a data set, and there we have a table. So this is how things look right now after we finished it, after we set everything up. All right, let's back up. This is a little we're showing what we're gonna talk about, but let's back up a little. So what did we decide to track? Well, there are many engineering benchmarks we could be starting with, like bug open time, time to fix, things like that. But one metric I've been kind of watching is what I'm calling pickup time. So basically, when a developer finished implementing and testing their feature and they put it up for review, they opened a PR, marked it ready for review. Sometimes we've seen that PR would sit there several days before someone would get around and reviewing it. So in some cases, this waiting time could be quite frustrating, especially if you've got other changes depending on the PR or other people waiting for that work. So this time to review has a direct impact on engineering velocity. So in this case, we're going to define pickup time somewhat narrowly for simplicity's sake. Basically, it's going to be the time from when the PR is marked ready for review until the code review is done. So that slice of the PR's lifecycle. And the review doesn't need to be an approval review. It can just be any review. It could be a reject review. It can be a comment review, just as long as it is a review as GitHub defines it. All right, so how did we implement this? I guess let's go ahead and jump back. Let's look at some code. So we implemented it using a reusable GitHub action. The action is quite here, down here. We decided to use JavaScript because it's just simpler. We didn't, to simplify the action, we didn't have to use TypeScript to have the extra build steps. For the GitHub API client, if we go to source code, GitHub client, we used the OctaKit API client. Let's see. Let's see if the code's here. We fetch the pull requests. We look at them. We get the review events. We get the timeline events. We take the review events and timeline events, and then we calculate the pickup time. From our initial testing, we noticed that there were actually big spikes in the data on Mondays, either up or down. That's because we often saw like several pull requests being created on the Friday, and then they were sitting there for a couple of days, and on Monday they get reviewed, and that would be a big pickup time, right? So we decided to kind of clean up the data because we don't actually expect our engineers to be working over the weekends. So we went in there and added a bunch of code for calculate pickup time. I wonder if it's here. Added a bunch of code. Ready for review. Let me see. Here we go. Calculate pickup time excluding weekends. Yes. Where we're actually adjusting the data, etc. So this was actually a bit complicated to add. So we actually had to add some testing code just for those cases, for those timestamp cases. But we did get it working. Another thing of note that we did is we added like a -- print only flag. So we just get the data from GitHub and we print it out to the screen and not upload it to the database yet. Okay, let's talk about interfacing with BigQuery. To interface with BigQuery, we use the Google's Node.js API there, and then we have the schema over here. We actually defined the PR number as our primary key. So this is all historical data. So once we put something in a database, we don't change it for this metric. So we only upload new data to the database when we run this. Yeah, so basically, let's go ahead and look at Grafana next. All right, so this is a final dashboard, how it looks. So when we first come in here, we had to think like, what exactly do we want the data to look like? So we decided on a 7-day moving average, kind of to smooth the data out a bit. We wanted to be able to filter by time range. So we're able to filter up here by time range. And we wanted to be able to filter by GitHub username. So we can GitHub by filter by username. So that's going to be the creator of the PR. We're also going to be able to filter by user group. For example, we're showing the engineering group here. And then we also wanted to include PR numbers to drill down into the data. So the time-consuming part here was actually creating the SQL query that gets this data. So let's take a look at the query data. I think I need to go to edit to view it. Let's see, let me scroll down. Let me pop this out, expand editor. There we go. So it's a nice size query, 125 lines. And it's got a few subqueries. Daily, calendar, rolling average, and then finally we get the last one. So it's a multi-power query, so it's not simple. It was also a little bit hard to test because we had to use like Grafana variables here, like from to, right, to be able to zoom in by date. And then we had this extra logic to filter out by users and groups. We actually had to duplicate it down here. The reason we duplicate it down here is because we also gather the PR numbers. We gather the PR numbers associated with a single data point, and I'll show you how that looks like shortly. So that's why this data is a little duplicated here. We also ran into a timestamp issue because we were trimming the date, the time, but then in our local, in a local view, in a Central American time zone, it was the day before UTC midnight. So we were, it was showing the data as the previous date. So we had a little hack here to set the time to noon as opposed to midnight. All right, let's demonstrate how we can drill down into this. So over here, I can go inspect data, and then I can drill down into any of the numbers. Let's actually show an example. We're in the edit temp panel. Let's go to the view panel. Down here, you can make it bigger. You can view. This is engineering. Let's look at all. And there was a big spike here yesterday, 514. So let's get the data for that big spike. So we're gonna go explore, inspect. I think explore also work. I'm gonna try this next. Inspect data. There was a big spike on 514. I'm gonna grab all that data. Then I'm going to, I think I need another window. Let me copy this, duplicate this. Are we fetching it? Let me try the explore. Explore, yeah, this is great. Okay, this is great. So over here, I can dig into it. So what we want is a query that kind of looks like this. Select star, and then we want to put the PRs that we want in here. This number is off. Let me double check. We want to edit. What's the number? Here we go. That's it. Just for demo purposes, I used a different number here. And then we want the data. So we want to inspect data. We grab all the PRs. It's a lot of PRs, but let's go. Let's see what it gives us. Run query. And we order by pickup time seconds. So we are seeing the biggest numbers here. So this was a big spike, 514. Okay, so actually I want to filter by ready time here. No, hold on. First review time. Okay, first review time. I think the numbers are probably right. Okay, yeah. So there was a few large ones. So this one's really large, right? So I could dig into this. I have the URL here, so I can go and actually see what was going on with this PR. So this lets us, an engineer, to kind of dig into that data. Of course, as long as they have this magic incantation, which we document. Okay, so that's how we handle the data. Just for demonstration purposes, let me filter this by, I think I already filtered it, right? You saw engineering, you show all, it's good. All right, let's talk about GitHub action. So this is all on GitHub. I'll have a link down here in the video. And we have the workflow. It's pretty straightforward. We can take a look at it. Just set up node, install dependencies. In this case, we put the service account key into a file, but we can also rewrite the code for it to come in as an environmental variable. This doesn't quite work right here. It's not production ready. It just runs in this. As of this video, it just runs in this repo right now, but this is kind of the basic idea. So it's not that much setup. And we can actually go look at a real run. So there was a run that happened last night. Go ahead and take a look and see what happened here. This is how it looks. It's grabbing data, analyzing it. And let's scroll down all the way to the bottom. In the end, collected 416 metrics. 394 already existed, so I only uploaded 22. This tells me that maybe it's grabbing too much data. We just need to, instead of looking at the last 30 days, since we're running it daily, we should just look at the last maybe 3 days. That should be fine. All right, so I think that's it. You know, we got our dashboard. It's looking good, and we're going to be adding more metrics to it. So free dashboard, very powerful. Hope you found this useful. Thanks.